So first thing I got to do is get my last part out of my sub spindle. So what I'm going to do is load a dummy part in my main spindle. Just because I have to have something to clamp on with this machine to cycle start. All right, I'm going to crank head 1 down to 0 feed. And if I did the things right, we got to reset program. Head 1 set to 0, so we're just going to run head 2 and finish the back side of that last part. There we go. So that's just a quick little deburring operation. Put the chamfer on the back OD corner and does a deburr on the ID corner. We're running DOM tubing, so a lot of times we talk OD, ID in the 4 corners. So that's done there, so we'll stop, reset that. Go to MDI, M211, and a block. All right, now we got our part out. I'm gonna engage this guy real quick. That's good. That's in. That's in. That's in. Crossthread's good. Well, we still gotta shove all the 2 parts out. We gotta get a better system for this, but this is what we got for now. So that's all cleared out now. Now we gotta change over to, what size is that? 2 1/8 inch stock. So this little guy, I'm pretty sure the story behind this thing is this predates Torx. It's not Torx, I know that. Hurts your fingers a lot more to use it, to be honest. So, but this is how we have to take these collet pads out. Let's crank them all loose, a turn or quarter turn or so. The main side collet and pads are in a whole lot better shape than the sub side. The sub sides took a little bit of abuse as we learned how to program this this machine, unfortunately. So we kind of mark them and keep them separate. Sub side is mostly just doing deburring work, so it's not critical that everything is super tight over there. These are actually really clean already. We were not running these, we were running standard collets on the previous job, so these were just kind of out and ready to go. So main side. Yeah, you can see there that poor sub collet. It's kind of had a hard life. The bores are still good though. So that guy's go there. This guy's got to get all torn apart. I like these these master collets for some ease and simplicity and some cost reduction because they cost a lot less and they're readily available. These big collets like this aren't readily available. So, but you got to do a whole lot of cleaning with these things to get them to hold as nicely as I like them to, at least. So I'm gonna pull out all the little clamps. These little clamps are kind of work like a turnbuckle. They've got a left-hand thread on one side and a right-hand thread on the other. And so when you tighten the screw, the 2 halves of the clamps approach each other, which means you gotta make sure you keep them centered on their shaft. So, so we're gonna go blow this guy out real quick. I'll show you real quick how these guys work. We'll do it on a main pad because they look prettier. So when you tighten these guys, so this clamp's got the top clamp and a bottom clamp. The bottom clamp has a little key in it, which locates in the keyway on the collet pad, like so. So that traps that collet pad so it can't rotate in the collet. When we first got this machine, it came with this collet system, but most of those keys were broken off, so the collet pads were just allowed to slip and slide around in there. See, as you tighten that, it draws the 2 halves of the clamp together. And that's as tight as it'll go here. When it's in the collet body, these sit inset a little bit so that it draws that pad into the side of the collet. Let's go there, and there are my 2 1/8 collet pads. So we're gonna take those over there. And while we're over here, we're gonna grab my 2-inch. This is the collet for the bar feeder, 2 1/8. So we'll need this in a minute. These pads have lived a little better life. They're in a little better shape. Gonna put all these clamps back in. This is our sub-side collet. Inspecting, make sure the keys aren't overly damaged on the clamps. Bring that guy up a little more. All right, this is pad D, so we're gonna put that one in right there. Kind of just do them hand tight to start with. That's B. Ooh. Wonder how or when that happened. Got a little dinger in this guy, so we're gonna have to stone that out. Let's set that side guy. All right, so there's pad C. That to click in. There we go. So these go in sequentially. All right, now this is the pad that's got a dinger in it. I'm gonna see if I can hone that out. It's kind of a big ding to try and hone out with a stone. I might actually have to go to the belt sander. I'm trying to be really careful here and not interfere with the locating circle of the collet. So I'm just really stoning right on that ding. Try to take the ding out so that the collet still locates true, which it's got a lot of surface area, so I'm not really worried about it. But I don't want to just scrub all around in there, you know. I'm just trying to take out that ding. Might have to bevel it off a little bit. So this is size stock we're running on. So I'm gonna find a clean spot on there and I'm just gonna try and slide that past and see if I can feel it catch. Oh yeah. So we're gonna work on that some more. There we go. I like that. So put that guy in. There we go. I'm gonna put my wrench away this time. The collets are ready. All right, so we gotta open the cover on this guy. Woohoo! All right, so we're gonna change out the bar feed collet. This bar feed shuts itself off when you open the lid, so I've got 3 set screws on this guy around the perimeter. And the way this is set up, the collet fully protrudes from the channel, so I don't need to open the channel or anything to get it out. These have a cone point on them, so you gotta back them up quite a ways. So crack them all loose and then back them out, but don't go out past the body of the collet. Otherwise they won't spin in the channel nicely. One more, like so. Old collet out, the new collet on. Again, like tightening a tire, I'll take each one of the 3 set screws till they just touch. Rotate to the next one. Probably not entirely necessary, but better safe than sorry, as they say. All right, pretty sure I did that one already, but better safe than sorry. There we go. So old collet. We're gonna look at our pads on the bar feeder. These are our steady rest pads, or blocks, whatever you wanna call them. Zach was gonna engrave these one of these days. You might have forgot already though.
What happened?
You were gonna engrave these for me. They write on them with Sharpie the size, but a lot of good that does you when they live in an oil bath. Of course, these are in metric, so I need to do a quick conversion on what size I need. So this is a 42 millimeter pad, which means the smallest stock you should run in it is 41 millimeter. You want at least a millimeter of clearance. 0.125 times 25.4 gets me, so they're basically 54 millimeters is my stock size. So I need to have pads that are bigger than 54 millimeters. So here's my 42. Those are 52. Those are 60, 55. So they need to be 50 bigger than 54. So that gives me 1 millimeter clearance, 1¼ millimeters of clearance, if I remember right. Now the big chamfer on these guys goes inward, and that's to clear the big weld fillet on their plate. And the top and bottom are identical. Put my plate back on. All right. And we can close up the bar feeder. Super quick and easy. All right. Lock that guy. All right, now we got to change the collet. Grab my main collet, my master collet with my 2 1/8" collet pads in it. So this is the cap for the collet. This is a dead length collet system. So that's just kind of a retainer screw. So this guy just takes a little quarter turn and then it pops loose like so. And it's gonna be all full of nasties. So take that collet out, all full of nice pokies. So we'll still have to wipe that out. We're just gonna blow it off initially. I don't like blowing air into the spindle because the clamp sleeve, I don't want to shove any chips in there between the clamp sleeve and the nose. Put our collet in, look that guy over, and looks good. That guy goes in. And now we got to clean this guy. And this guy goes back on. So this has got push tabs it pushes against. So this is what bears the weight of the draw tube when it pushes forward on the collet. So those fit in like so. We'll turn, line that guy up right there. And then put my not the right but works screw back in. There we go. Main side changed over. All right, now we gotta do the sub side. You know, I mentioned earlier the sub side takes a lot of beating. That also comes from all the chips and everything that gets in it. Lift my airline out of the way there. It gets a lot of chips inside of it, just from the type of work we're running. There we go. See that, guys? Oh yeah, lots of good stuff there. We'll see if we can get this collet out. There we go. So this one gets a lot more debris in it. So like I said, that sub side just lives a harder life. These guys live in the collet slots to try and mitigate some of that dirt and such. I don't think they really do much. This guy's a little harder to get clean. I'm gonna have to shoot some air in there. It's got our feed bushing in, or feed tube in there and a bushing on it. So can't get, but I'm putting the air away from the closing taper. Collet in. Like that. There we go. A little bit of cleanup to do, but we're changed over from 1.5 to 2 1/8, and we will start proving out the next part.